I do want to say we are right now Facebook living this thing. I don't even know if that's a verb or not, living, but it's out there. It's going on. So we are videoing. So if you will just give a shout out to everybody online for me, would you do that? 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm gonna have to direct the shout out. Why don't we say St. Henry's real loud? Are you ready for that? 3, 2, 1.
St. Henry!
There it is, St. Henry's Marist College. Love this school. So pleased to be with you this morning. I am talking about being uniquely made for a special purpose. You know, the most costly painting that was ever sold, the second most, we're going to start with the second most costly painting ever sold, was called The Interchange. And it sold in 2016 for $300 million. That's a lot of loot. It was painted by a guy named Willem de Kooning. Nice, sounds like a Dutch name. Hey, it was a Dutch name, Dutch American. Lived in the 40s and 50s is where he did a lot of his paintings. He's now gone. And I've brought that painting along with me. I got it right here. This painting, $300 million worth of beautiful, fine art. You ready to see it? Can I get a drum roll? Oh, you guys. Here it is. There it is. Yeah, I know. I had the same feeling when I saw this painting. That kind of a big dose of, are you serious? You can't be kidding. You gotta be kidding. $300 million for this thing. I mean, when I looked at it, I thought the first thing that came to my mind is confusion. One, over the price tag, but secondly, it just looks like confusion, doesn't it? Interchange, it's actually painted of a landscape. If your garden looks like this, you need to fire your gardener, right? There's a landscape. So confusion was the first thing that came to my mind. And then the second words that came to my mind were, this is so messed up. Like really, it's like messy. Everything's just, where's it going? I'm not quite sure. But it just looks messed up. And then I think, I zeroed in on this spot right here. Really, I did. It was like the first thing that I saw. I kind of zeroed in, and I almost thought, okay, I can kind of get that. It almost looks like a heart. Like maybe this is meant to be the heart of the painting. It's kind of in the right place. And I thought, what's this? Like this dark kind of thing that's kind of attacking it. And I thought, oh, okay, now we're getting really deep. Like darkness is like attacking the heart, right? Okay, now I can feel it. I'm starting to feel it a little bit. And then I see this little yellow in the middle of the heart. And I think, okay, like there's a glimmer of hope, like a flicker of lights in there. And so maybe it's not so hopeless after all. And then it suddenly dawned on me that this could describe the world. Like this could describe the world. Confusion. I mean, how many of us do not understand the world? Yeah, you're raising your hands. Yeah, you guys are like, yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Facebook, you don't understand it, do you? Be real. We don't. We don't often understand it. How many of us would say, man, this world is so messed up. Like it's messy. It doesn't always work together. And how many of us would say, it's like even if you think about the heart of the world, it just feels like there's darkness that just attacks this thing. And right whenever you see that the human race could be better, it's like goes back a few steps and you kind of think, come on. But then every once in a while, you see a little flicker of hope, a little light. And then it hit me again that I've just described my own life. I mean, I don't understand myself the way that I'd like to understand. Sometimes I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do, if I'm coming and going. I've got a million thoughts at one time, and then all of a sudden there's no thoughts at all. And I'm like, I am confused. Sometimes I feel completely messed up. I feel messy. It's like, I feel like, if people were to know the crazy things that pop into my mind, and even some of the things that I've done, praise God, some of those things are not on Google. My life would look a little bit like this. Messed up. And all of you would know if we were to put it on this canvas, wow, no, that dude is messed up. I agree with him. Maybe you feel that way as well. Maybe you feel like your life is confusing. Maybe you feel like you're messed up. Maybe you feel like your heart is attacked by darkness. I've had more dark days in my life than I wish. Pain and grief, the loss of a brother killed by a drunk driver when I was 21, he was 22. I wish that darkness did not exist. It altered my future. It altered everything in my life. Threw me off course. It was hard to get back on. A miscarriage of one of my own children. Darkness comes in and it creeps in and it starts to attack my heart. And sometimes it's like I'm fighting back depression or disappointment. You ever feel that way? And it's just pushing in. And some of the things that have been done to me have exploded inside of me and left shrapnel that I think, gosh, man, I wish that wasn't there. And I understand this all of a sudden, this attack onto my own heart. And maybe you've experienced that. Maybe you're going through something right now of an attack. But then, all of a sudden, there's a bit of hope. There's a glimmer, either from the outside or even from the inside of my own life, and I see and I think, you know what? Actually, I can make it through. Did you know this month, two separate people anonymously gave our family 1,000 rand? Like out of the blue. They gave it to us. So how they did it is they gave it to our church, and our church just put it in our account and said, look, people have given you some money. I'm like, what, really? Wow, and I look and I think, wow, there's a glimmer of hope right there. I mean, there's people out there that are willing to just give 1,000 rand and not even tell you about it. That's some good people. And sometimes I surprise myself and do something pretty cool too, and I think, wow, geez, maybe from this messed up heart, good things can still come. You ever feel that way? Maybe you feel some of that, maybe you feel all of that. This painting speaks to us. And then I think to myself, okay, how do I get that flicker of hope? How do I fan it into a flame that cannot be quenched, into a massive fire of hope that will burn away the confusion and the messed up things and the darkness? How do I get that to that place? I think this painting has something to teach us about that as well. I think if we look a little bit deeper, we discover a few things. Here's the first thing that I think this painting gives us hope for. First of all, it's uniquely made. You'd have to agree with me. I told my daughter that yesterday. I said, this is uniquely made. And she says, actually, it looks like something I painted when I was 3. So I said, yeah, but you couldn't have painted exactly like this because it's pretty unique. This is not helping me. This is unique. Am I right? There's no painting. Nobody could create this again like it is. And did you know that you are uniquely made? Everything from your relationships to your personality to your own personal convictions to your genetics. You are uniquely made. So we're busy packing our house at the moment because we're moving to another house. And I came across this little packet of papers and photos that my mother had sent me. She had been keeping it in storage or in her house. She said, you might want these things. So I was going through it, and to be honest, I was throwing it out. Some really cute pictures of myself, by the way, whenever I was like 3, and even a little baby. I kept the baby one. But the other with the mullet and I just thought, no. No, this must never find its way to Google. Just never. But then I came across this little card. This piece of card, and it was so interesting. I looked at it and I didn't recognize it, and it's got my name at the top of it, Drew Land at the top. And then I see that it's dated back to when I was 10 years old, and printed in very official letters at the top says Travis County Sheriff's Department. It's got a little sheriff's badge, a little official symbol at the top right as well. And I look closer and I see that it says right thumb, right index, right middle finger, right ring, right little finger. And then I looked at the back and there's my handprint. And I thought, oh, they fingerprinted me at the sheriff's department in Austin, Texas, where I lived at the time. And then it started to disturb me. Wait a minute. Why would they fingerprint a 10-year-old kid at the sheriff's department? I mean, why was I there? What would I be doing at the sheriff's department? Why would they need to fingerprint me? Have you ever been fingerprinted at a sheriff's department? I'm like, I don't even remember that. I mean, I know without a doubt, I never committed a serious crime, at least not at that age, to warrant a fingerprinting. And I thought, oh my goodness, there must be something I don't know or I don't remember. And maybe there's a wanted poster out there of me somewhere. Maybe in Facebook, if you can look and see if there's a wanted poster of me, just give me some thumbs up so I can know to go into hiding. But I thought, what in the world, what could a 10-year-old do that's so bad? Well, I don't know. It doesn't tell me. But what this piece of paper does tell me is that the reason my fingerprints are here is because it identifies me and distinguishes me from every other young criminal in the world. Because it's unique. My thumbprint is unique, just like I am unique. Hold your thumbs up, real high. Hold them up so I can see your fingerprint. I just want to have a quick look. Yeah, now I can see that every single one of them is different. I can tell. Now look at you. Now you look at study. Check the lines out on that thumb of yours. There are 8 billion people on this planet, and none of them have that thumbprint but you. Now just show it to your neighbor next to you and say, yeah, check this thumbprint. You don't have this. Nobody has this thumbprint. This is the best thumbprint ever. And the reason is because you are uniquely made, just like this painting. But something else that I learned from this painting is that I don't understand it, and that might be because I don't know its creator. Like if I could sit down with Willem de Kooning and say, look, like explain to me this painting. Like, why these colors? I'd start to find some meaning in it, and it'd start to make a little bit more sense, and I might be able to appreciate it in ways I never could before. Love to ask him, why these lines? What were you thinking? What were you imagining? Why this blob right here? And it dawns on me that I can actually have the same conversation with my Creator if I want to know a little bit more about why I am the way I am, why I'm uniquely made in this way. I'd be like, God, okay, why this color? Say, God, why these lines on my forehead? Why this blob? But more importantly, I'd love to ask him, I'd love to hear him tell me why these dreams in my head? Why all these ideas? Why put me in the culture that I am? Why make me Texan? Why? Well, I get to wear boots, and I'm really, I'm wearing them today. So that's a big bonus. You can wear boots and still look cool, right? Right? But why this culture of mine? Why this gender? Why am who I am? God, why? And I believe it's a conversation that God would invite each of us into. Because he knows why you're uniquely made. Because you're uniquely made for a special purpose. You have a special purpose. There are things that you can do in the way that you think, and your perceptions and your intelligence and all the package that you are is designed for a purpose. Ephesians 2:10 says this, that we are God's masterpiece. It actually uses that word. Don't you love it? We are his masterpiece. You're his masterpiece. And it said, chosen in Christ Jesus to do good works, which he prepared beforehand that you would walk in them. Think about that for a moment. Before you were born, God said, okay, I got some good works, and I need this concoction to achieve that good work. He has set up amazing things for every single one of you if you'll enter into the conversation and walk them out with him. Absolutely phenomenal. But there are some things that you will be tempted to do. And you will try to compare yourself with everybody else. And think that you wish you could have that gift and wish you could have that talent and wish you could look like that so that you might be able to be them and not you. And you'll be tempted. I was tempted. When I first came to South Africa 16 years ago, I was invited to go to someone's farm. In Texas, we just call them ranches. This sounds a lot cooler, I think, by the way. Just saying. I got a ranch, a lot better than I got a farm. Ranch says horses, farm says chickens, okay? Let's just put it out there. South Africa, call it a ranch. You're going to sound a lot cooler. So they said, well, we got a farm. And I'm thinking, oh, cool farm. I'm not thinking there's horses on the farm. I mean, horses are back home in Texas, right? So I've come, and they invite us out. And there's a whole bunch of us, like 30 of us. And I was a little bit younger then. So we were all young and fit. And so we go there, and they have this massive horse. This big black, I would say stallion. Stellarman is what his name was. Stellarman. Oof. And this thing was big. I mean, it looks like they brought it in from Texas because everything in Texas is bigger and better. But I was shocked. I thought, this is bigger than Texas. I mean, I need to re-educate myself here because this is big. And she says to me, so do you ride? And I was like, yeah, of course I ride. I'm from Texas. Now here's the truth, is I actually grew up in West Africa. And I lived in 6 different places, 6 different countries, I was a traveler, right? And then Texas came along, but only later. And I'd gone to my cousin's farm, his ranch, a couple of times, and I trotted with some horses. And I'm not even dressed for the occasion. I'm wearing shorts, and back then it was cool. I was wearing these sandals, like Jesus type sandals, right? Might even had a beaded necklace on me. I don't know, So I'm not even dressed for the occasion, but she asked me, and I'm on the spot. I'm feeling, she's a Texan here, and I said, yeah, no, we ride horses. I'm from Texas. She said, do you want to ride them? I was like, yeah, would love to ride them. But now I'm thinking back when I'm like 14 with my cousin's horse, right? And so I get on this thing, the stirrups, I put it in their metal stirrups. I put them, get over onto the horse, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. She gives me this Afrikaner, farmer's hat. So it's like, here's a cowboy hat. And I was like, well, kinda, okay. I'll go with it. Cowboy hat, put it on. And I sit on this thing, and we're in this paddock, and there's about 30 people just on the inside of the fence with me there, and they're looking, and I'm like, yeah, Texas. We got this. And so I'm thinking, this horse is not going anywhere. How do I get it going? So I'm thinking, oh no, like the movies, you just gotta ka-cha. So I held this thing, and I'm like, all right, ka-cha, ka-cha. And this thing just bolts so fast. My hat just goes like this. And I grab hold of the reins. And 2 thoughts immediately pop into my mind. The first is, oh my goodness, Drew, do not die. Do not die. That is so embarrassing. The second thought, and I kid you not, was this. At least try and look cool on the horse if you're going to die. And so I start doing the elbow thing like from the movie. And I'm just hanging on for dear life, and I'm literally petrified. Now, because I'm squeezing so much, my feet, because I got sandals on, are pushing into the stirrups, and they're cutting through my skin to the bone. And I am flying on this horse. I still got the scars, by the way. Flying. And now it starts to head straight for this telephone pole that has these wire cables, kid you not, that are on both sides. And it's going straight through the wire cables. So like a rodeo show, I'm holding on this thing and I see I am going to be decapitated. Like my head on the ground with the horse carrying my body back to the masses. So I do the only thing I can do, and I just slide over. I mean, it looks stunning. It was stunning, but it was petrifying, and I'm like, right past. And then it skids around the pole, and it starts to head back to the 30 people that are watching. And it's going so fast, and I can see that I'm hanging on. I'm like, I got this, I got this, I got this. But then I'm realizing this thing is not stopping. And there's a fence, and there's a whole bunch of people. Literally, the 30 people start crawling over the fence. They're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna come after us. And I'm like, And then it just, right before we get to the fence, it just stopped. And my body just, and I'm hanging on. And then the reins are here, and I pull myself back. I'm like, I slide off the horse as quickly as I could. Ankles bleeding. She comes up to me, and she says, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "We ride horses and it takes a little time." And she said, "Wow, you ride horses differently than we do." Literally, she said that. And then she went and got bandages for my feet. And the reason that sticks into my mind is because I was pretending to be something I'm not. I am not a sporty person. I know I look like a Greek god up here, but I am not a sporty person. I was never good at sports. I was a musician. I had a guitar in my hand. It was much better for the girls. Trust me, guys. You musicians out there, don't wish that you were the sports person. Trust me, the guitar is going to work. I got my wife because of the guitar. But I had to learn that God's made me special, and I don't have to be like everybody else. Neither do you. You got a purpose, and God wants you to walk in that and not someone else's purpose. And I want to demonstrate a little bit more about what that means. And I've got 4 people I've asked, and 4 out of the 3 I'm related to. They're my children. Because we're doing this live, I didn't want to put any of you up online without your permission. But I got permission from these guys, so please come on down just real quick. I need you to run down. This is Jonas and Eden and Dea. I asked Uzi to join us as well. Uzi, come on down. All right, Jonas, you're going to stand here. Uzi, you're going to be over there. Dea, you're going to be right there. And Eden's right here. All right. Now, this represents the special gifts that each one of these guys have. Uzi has the gift of generosity. It's actually in the Bible. Did you know this? There's a bunch of gifts in the Bible. We'll talk about this stuff. This is the gift of generosity, and this is like material, like Uzi's got everything, people need the stuff that she's got, right? And now they're going to have a task to do, and Uzi, in a moment, just pick this stuff up and just go for it, okay? Now, yeah, just go for it. Okay, just a moment when I tell you. You're keen, I'm glad. Eden, she's got the gift of wisdom, like she's got all the tools. If you know Eden, she's very, very wise. Am I right, guys? Very, very wise. Always come for her to get advice on parenting because she has plenty of it. And Eden has wisdom. She knows what tool can be used when and how and what it should be used for, right? So she just got all this wisdom. Eden, in a moment, you're just going to use those tools and go for it. Dea has got vision. She's got the gift of vision and leadership. And she's just she knows what to do, and she knows how to give people the big picture. So she's got the big picture view, right? Today, in a moment, you're going to just go for it. And then Jonas. Jonas, my wise one, who read The Lord of the Rings twice before he was 10. I never even read the back cover. He has got the gift of teaching. And he can teach on a lot of things because I brought his favorite books. My very first book of Numbers. He loves this one. Trust me, we read it a lot together. First 100 trucks. Jonas knows trucks. And then how apt is this one for today? Max Lucado's You Are Special. Uniquely made for a special purpose. And some other cute ones, animals. Oh, and we We brought our Afrikaans dictionary. No American living in South Africa can live without that. So he's got the gift of teaching. Jonas, are you ready? Guys, are you ready? All right, just go for it. Use that gift. Okay. So what's the problem here? They're not together. They're not working together. Why? Or why do they need to work together? Say it real loud. They what? They got different gifts that need each other. Okay, so watch. If we were to combine all of these things together, we might be able to complete the task in front of us. But we need to do it together. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. You guys get together and see if you can't complete that. Because each of you holds something that the other person needs. And this is the truth about your special purpose, is that it's never in isolation. It's never just for you. You know, there's 4 things that I've learned about a special purpose. That God's special purpose, I don't know what each of yours is. You'll have to discover that as you walk with Him and as you learn the different skills. And one thing you can do is write down the things that you really love to do. Write down the things that you're really good at doing. And then be grateful for them. And be confident in them. And other people will start to see their use as well. But here's the 4 things that I do know about special purpose. Is that they are always meant for others. They are always with others. They are always for God, and they are always with God. God's intention is that they would always be for others, with Him, and for Him. So that's what we can be sure of with each of your special gifts and special purpose. That's what we do know. So I told you that this was the second most costly painting. Willem de Koonin's interchange. 300 million. And your life might feel confused. It might feel messed up. You might feel like darkness tries to creep in. But if you'll understand that you're uniquely made by God, and if you will get to know Him, you'll start to see that those things start to disappear. But let me tell you this, is if you walk in your purpose, it's not always going to be easy. It might actually be very costly. There are great men and women of history that it cost them a great deal to walk in their purpose. And you might be one of them. Because it means laying down your life for others. It means serving. It means loving. Even when it's not easy. And you'll understand that a whole lot more when you have children, trust me. It's not always easy to walk in your purpose. It'll be costly. But there's another painting that's sold for more than this one. It's the painting that was sold for the most money in all of history. For $450 million. It was sold. When I turn it around, I wonder if you'll be surprised. To be honest, it did not surprise me. I thought, yeah, I get that. Not because I know anything about art, because I don't. Not because I know its creator, because I don't. It was painted by Leonardo da Vinci, long before I ever existed. And it was sold in 2017, $450 million. The title is Salvator Mundi. And the reason I could understand its value is because I know something of the value of the person in the painting. Salvator Mundi means, in Latin, the Savior of the world. It was discovered hidden underneath painting. He had painted over it a few times and they restored it. This is a globe that means the world, and he's giving a blessing. And Jesus Christ is dressed in Renaissance clothes, meaning that he is timeless. And he's timeless in our day as well. There's a quote from a historian named Kenneth Scott Latourette that says this. He was the president of the American Historic Society. And he said this: as the centuries pass by, the evidence is accumulating that, measured by its effect on history, Jesus is the most influential life ever lived on this planet. The influence appears to be mounting. No other life lived on this planet has so widely and deeply affected mankind. He wrote that from a historical perspective, not as a believer. History shows that Jesus was valuable to our world. And according to him, the most valuable person to have ever lived. Why would the most valuable person who's ever lived die on a cross? Well, the Bible tells us it's because he wanted to bring you back into relationship with God and remove your sin by paying the penalty for it. And the Bible says because you are that valuable to him. Because you're that valuable. He did not pay $450 million for you. He gave his life for you. His priceless, perfect, precious life. That's how valuable he thinks you are. If you will begin to know your Creator, he's the one that takes you into your unique, special purpose. He's the one who will help you when your life is confused, when you feel messed up, or when you feel like darkness surrounds. Don't let the flicker be a flicker. Let it be a flame as you know that the light of the world, Jesus Christ, burns passionately for you. Well done. They completed their purpose. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to have my children in this amazing establishment. I'm proud of these teachers and the staff. St. Henry's, thank you very much.